Hello and welcome to the training on data entry for the project management tracker. I've already entered in some information here because basically you're just typing in information and we don't need to spend a lot of time on that. Here we see our project information box filled in. Greasy Food is our job name. If I ever owned a Greek restaurant, I would call it Greasy Food from Greece. That's kind of funny, huh? Yeah. Anyway, Architects, FFKR, they're an actual architect firm that I've done a lot of work for over the years. Our contractor is Weeby Builders. I actually knew a guy that had a company. His last name was Weeby and Weeby Builders. Vendor information, since we're doing a tile job, this is going to be for Dow Tile. And our sales contact and our accounts payable, especially if we're going to be getting financing from subsurety. That's important information. I did want to go through our estimated job cost, although before I do that, let me look at, if we click down at that bottom there for our company information, our company is called Dunn Tile, and Tile Done Right. Our owner, his last name is Dunn, and so we cleverly have called our name Dunn Tile. This is going to be important. Actually, all of this information is going to be very important once we see how to do invoices and our schedule of values automatically, so that all of this information is in there. It's kind of a pain, I know, to put it in the beginning, but if we take a couple of minutes now, we're going to save ourselves a whole lot of trouble later on. And so, like the Nike people say, just do it. So back to the enter estimated job cost. Let's say our original contract, it's a small job, $25,000. Now here we don't put any commas or dollar signs, we just enter in the raw numbers. Our estimated total man hours, again, this tool is not for doing your bid. We're at the project management stage. It's assumed that we've already got the job and maybe ready to start it. So all of this hopefully is part of your original bid, and now you're just transferring over the information. Our average hourly wage, let's say, is $25. Again, that's average hourly wage. You may have people that are more, people that are less. We're just trying to get an average hourly wage here so that we can gauge that during our project, the project's completion, and gauge that at the end to see how well we did. Our estimated footage or units, since this is tile, we're doing square footage, 2,500, let's say. Now, I'm trying to, this is just coming off the top of my head. I'm trying to base it in reality. It may not be perfect, but anyway. So if you're saying that I'm crazy when I'm entering my numbers, that may be true, but just bear with me. Now, when we're entering our costs, when we look at our invoicing and we look at our schedule of values, there are going to be three main components to our costs, and that the general contractors and owners generally want to see. They want to see your material costs and how much you've completed of that, your labor costs and how much you've completed of that, and then the rest I just label managerial. So all your taxes, per diem, freight, so on and so forth, and even your profit are going to be lumped into the managerial costs, and we'll see more about that on the training on schedule of values and reports. But as you're entering these costs here, it's up to you how, if you want to put, if you actually have, let's say that you estimate that you have $7,000 worth of actual material hard costs, and you want to put a margin on top of that. Say, so 7,000, you want to put $1,000 margin. Okay, well, that's fine. So say that your material costs are going to be 8,000. Same thing with your labor. If your labor costs you figure are going to be $6,000 and you want to have a little bit of slop or what have you, and a little bit of margin there, maybe you want to say $7,500. Again, it's up to you how you do it, but these numbers here are going to affect how your schedule of values and your billing is going to go later on. So try to be accurate as possible. And again, this tool is for you to make sure that you're managing your projects properly and that they come in on time and under budget, because every dollar that you're not having to give to the tax man or to your vendors or to freight or anything else is a dollar in your pocket. and so you want to be sure to track those things. Tax and or burden. So this would be sales tax, any kind of job tax, or burden that we have to pay for our employees. The state tax, federal tax, FICA, insurance, whatever, would be lumped under this one. So let's just say $1,200. There's no per diem. It's going to be an in-town job, freight and delivery. I don't know, $350 in delivery. Financing costs, maybe we're thinking of doing some financing of the material and or labor. Let's say we're going to have $800 in financing costs. Overhead and management. I always like to throw in a little bit there that we should be able to cost right directly to this job. I don't know, at this level I might go $300, and then maybe I want a little bit of stuff that I don't know yet. So $200 for my incidentals, and there we go. Notice at the bottom, as I was entering all of these numbers, this in real time updates to the estimated profit. So it starts at the top, $25,000, takes out your costs. The first three lines it doesn't affect. Man hours, hourly wage, and estimated footage and or units. But it subtracts out these costs and then gives you your profit. Okay, so that is the basic cover page. One thing I did forget and do want to tell you, there's going to be what we call auto-populate windows and boxes. So for instance, here we have greasy food. If I delete that out and then tab down, these two windows here are linked together. So instead of making you type over and over the same thing, we've got your back. We'll auto-populate when we can and where it's appropriate. So there we go. Okay, so now let's go to the Project Management tab, and we should basically open on the cover sheet for the Project Management tab, what we call Job Information and COs, which stands for change orders. Some of our information is already populated. We're not going to go too in-depth here. Job start date, if I don't have a start date, or if I already have a start date, you can put that in here. GC billing date, that's very important for billing, because at least where I've done business for years, it's either the 20th or the 25th, and I've actually been boxed out of giving an invoice because I didn't make it on the 20th when I thought it was the 25th. So there you go. Here we have more information for the GC that we didn't have on the original page. Address, estimator, maybe your estimator is John, and his phone number 1234567. Project manager, site supervisor, crew lead. This is one thing. How many times was if I had 4 or 5 jobs going and I forgot who the crew lead was and I couldn't get a hold of anybody and I really had to, well, it's good to have that information right here for me. Let's say my guy is Fred, and his number, who knows. And then a crew hand. So if I can't get a hold of Fred, I need to get a hold of someone else. Well, let's have Jose. And Jose, number right there. So this information is good to have, quick and easy, and I can access it at any time. Over on milestone dates, when did I send out submittals, when were materials ordered, when were materials delivered, job completion, and then any kind of job notes. We have to reorder red tile, they sent wrong color. Okay, whatever notes that I want to do. There was also a note section on the cover sheet. Again, as many notes as I need to. Nice to have right here so that I don't forget things. Our change orders. Okay, we see here in this window that our original contract is $25,000. We don't have any change orders yet, so our adjusted contract is the same. But let's say that they forgot to do, as so often happens, they didn't put in the specs to do slop sinks and the electric water fountains, EWFs. So my material, let's say, is going to be $750. Again, if you want to put your margin on top of that, which I definitely would in this case, do that. 750. My labor maybe is going to be $1,000, and we're going to have 35 man hours. Okay, so it calculates everything, what my change order is going to be. My margin for the change orders, since this isn't a bidding tool, we didn't worry about margin on the cover sheet, but since change orders are part of the project management, I get to do that. So it defaults to 10, but let's say that I want to go to 20. All I have to do is click the up arrow till I hit 20, and it adds it in. So now my original contract, 25,000, total change orders 2,187.50, adjusted contract 27,187.50. We also have that reflected up in the top here, where it rounds up to 27,188. Okay, the last thing that we want to talk about, I guess, is the weekly progress, and that is also a data entry field. These are the only places where you really enter data, this kind of information should be taken, can be taken right off of your invoices from your vendors and your timesheets from your guys, and that's all you have to do. So let's say for the first week I had 4 guys working 40 hours, that's 160 hours. Tab over. How much footage did they set? I don't know. Let's say that they set 850 square feet. My materials, I like to buy, front end load my material budget as much as I can, so that if I have problems like the red tile being wrong, I can find that out early. So let's say that I spent $7,000 the first week in materials. My labor, let's see, I don't know, just to be easy, let's say that my average labor was 20 bucks an hour, so that's 3,200. Well, let's go 3,500. 3,500 for my first week. My taxes and my burden again would be my sales tax plus any burden on materials. I'm gonna have about 350. So I don't know, let's say that I've got about $985 in taxes. We didn't have any per diem. We had $250 in freight, and our finance, we financed our materials $700, and I'm going to throw $150 at my overhead and incidentals. Let's say I just had 50 bucks this week. Okay, so all you have to do your weekly progress is enter that information every week, and you could wait a couple of weeks, if you had to, but it's easier if you're really going to take full advantage of this tool to put it in every week, so you can see where you're at. And you're going to be amazed how cool this next tab is, the productivity. And that's going to be for the next training, because we've finished learning how to enter data into the tool. Now we're going to start seeing how this little thing can really come alive with charts and graphs and show us how we're doing on our job. Okay, so the next training is productivity. Hope to see you there soon. Thanks.